Friends, good morning and welcome to another edition of Love Wrestling Sunday Brunch. Spencer Love here, as always, lovingly, playing the curator, the host, the nice little fulcrum that this entire thing revolves around, but by no means am I the only contributor. By no means am I the only person here this morning on Sunday Brunch, joined as always by Chris Parrish and Mighty Joe Morin, as well as joined by the incomparable Mr. J. Mr. J, I'm going to start with you, my friend. I know I'm going to get your contractual obligations out of the way early. How are you doing, man?
I am fantastic, sir. It is Sunday.
Excellent.
We are live on lovewrestling.ca. What could be better? Oh, yes, not being contractually obligated to be here. But anyway, move on.
Well, I will move on, and I'll move to the man directly diagonally to me, Mighty Joe Morin. It's going to be an easy day for me because I've only got one Joe to remember, so
yes,
at least a little benefit on my end. We do, of course, miss JPJ, but it's great to have you here, man. How are you doing?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Looking forward to talking about some wrestling and specifically talking about entrance themes. I'm looking forward to it because I'm a big fan of wrestling entrance themes, so looking forward to it.
Absolutely, my friend. And Chris Parrish, I'll ask you in a second, but as always, we want to encourage people to be commenting. And if we're doing so, let's be timely with the people in the chat. Vanessa joining me as well, joining us as well. She's joining me as well on a lot of the recent conversations I'm having. So I get the benefit of losing out on a Joe and getting the ease there, but doing more live streams gets me confused very much. Vanessa, the topic today is favorite theme music. We're going to then start breaking down ideal theme music after, of course, Orange Cassidy receiving the Pixies last week on AEW. There's a lot we can chat about, but of course, we want to encourage you guys to throw your thoughts out there as well. And JJ in the chat, another huge supporter of us here at Love Wrestling, a great human being and a huge supporter of the professional wrestling scene, whether here, whether Fightful, or everything in between. A great human, and thanks for joining us again this morning, JJ. Parrish, of course, last but not least, man. How are you, my friend? How are things on this lovely, lovely Sunday?
I'm well. We should also mention that this is the first time in a while we've have an all-Canadian panel on Sunday Brunch.
That's very fair.
Yes.
That is a very fair, some Canadian flavor to it. We always get a little bit of Canadian flavor, but exclusively from above the 49th parallel happening here on Sunday Brunch. As always, friend, and as I said before, if you're in the chat, let us know what you think. Let us know what you think on previous week's wrestling programming. Let us know what you think about your favorite theme music, anything in between. We're here to chat pro wrestling, give you a little taste of what you can expect in the next week here on Love Wrestling as well. But as we mentioned earlier, the topic today, the overarching theme today is theme music. Joe, you suggested the topic, definitely something that I want to dig into because I think we've all said it before in individual conversations. Music is so essential to professional wrestling, but what specifically got you wanting to chat about it today?
Before you get to that, you had mentioned Canadian flavor. What would that be, like maple flavored bacon?
I think so. Actually, we had a friend of the show in the chat yesterday with the interview I was doing saying their favorite breakfast was Canadian bacon and maple syrup. So I think that's like, yeah, there's got to be some sort of maple in there. I think you got to have like a double if you're getting her from Tim Hortons. Yeah, Steve Parrish is right on top of it. Fitting right into the Team Canada theme.
Yep.
Great to see you all in here.
Very Canadian in here today, but yeah, but with entrance theme songs, like you had mentioned, Spencer, it's a big factor in professional wrestling. I mean, that's when you come out, that and just your presence is the first impression that the audience gets of you. So it sets the tone right off the hop. And without a good, solid entrance theme and that presence, I mean, that's tough to build off of that. So it's a very, very important part of professional wrestling.
Absolutely. And my cousin Chad hopping in the chat. Nice to see you, cuz. Hope you're doing well. Say hi to the family. Every time I hear Real American Hit, it still gives me chills. Remember renting VHS copies of pay-per-views at the Husky in Bigger. And I think that's a perfect example of what you're talking about there, Joe, is that everybody's got some sort of memory of wrestling theme music, or music in professional wrestling in general. I had a chat with Ian Abel a couple of weeks ago. He was a big, big part of the AEW themes for both Double or Nothing and for the recent Full Gear pay-per-view. So everybody's got a bit of an experience with it. So if you guys are in the chat, as some of you guys already are, and I'll give some quick shouts as well. Let us know what some of your favorite theme songs are, some of your favorite memories of music in professional wrestling. Vanessa hopping in. Currently, I love Ciampa's music. Tom Lawler's is great as well. Yeah, I love me some Filthy Tom. You and I can chat MLW all day. We have done it before, but I know we'll continue to do so in the future. And yeah, I really love Ciampa's music, and I think that a great point to go off of there as well for me was when he first turned heel. He was the only guy coming out with no music, and how hard that hit too. I love that, and it sort of contradicts my entire point, but there are exceptions to every rule, and I think it was real cool the way that they sort of handled that off the bat. I want to also give a quick shout out, Parrish. I know you've got a point, but let's get to saying hello to our friend of the show, Maniac. Yeah. What artist or band that hasn't done a cover of a wrestling song would you like to do one, and what song would they cover? Let's touch on that in a second. Parrish, I know you did have a point to go across there. And then Mr. J, I know you've done some homework on this, and you, my friend, are a big proponent of wrestling tunes. So we'll hop to you to answer Maniac's questions first after Parrish gets his thoughts out.
Well, I was just going to say, he's not the first guy to do no music. That happened a lot in the 80s and even sometime when they started introducing. But I was just going to touch on the thing that, I know we've been a proponent of maybe making fun of WWE over the creative aspect. I think the one thing we can at least admit that when it comes to theme songs, they usually hit a home run almost every single time. They are really good at, and whether it was Mr. Johnson or even the CFOs, and I couldn't tell you who the person is now, but they really do a good job.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that everybody has to give the hat tip to Jim Johnson. Jim Johnson is the guy as far as it goes for theme music. But like you said, Parrish, there's so many great ones right now, whether it was from the former CFOs or the myriad of individuals doing their theme songs now. The earliest theme song that Jobber JJ can think of, earliest theme I remember liking the most is Doctor of Thugonomics. I will routinely refer to John Cena's return at 35 as one of my favorite WrestleMania moments ever. Him coming out as the Doctor of Thugonomics was absolutely fantastic. We'll head back to Maniac's thought here. First, we got to give a quick shout out. Bobby Roode. Yeah, the Glorious Bomb was again fantastic. But we'll get back to Maniac's question, and as promised, Mr. J, we'll let you tackle that one off first. Who is someone that you would like to see cover a theme song?
And they've done it with other things, and I was thinking about this morning when I was doing my homework that I had no idea that we were supposed to do. So as per usual...
Don't worry, you and I both.
Yeah, I've come in this slightly less than prepared, but I was thinking Anthrax would be a great band to do a theme song. I mean, they've done a cover of, and the internet will correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm sure they will. I know for a fact that Scott Ian has been involved with covering the Game of Thrones theme, so it wouldn't be that far-fetched to see them doing a wrestling theme.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be awesome.
Completely agree. Mighty Joe, I want to ask you on that one next, but I'll give my actual opinion on this one first. But while we're on this subject, I think that all you guys, if you've got the opportunity, Whale and the Wolf, they're a local Edmonton band. I got to give them a shout out. Early in the pandemic, they did a wicked cover of Stone Cold Steve Austin's theme song. Highly recommend that if you guys have the opportunity, go and check that out. Before we move on to you, Mighty Joe, of course, we're going to shout the comments up. What's up, team? We are chatting wrestling theme music in any way, shape, or form this morning. So if you guys have questions, comments, concerns, let us know. I will be moderating the chat, bringing your thoughts up before we get to our contributors. But let's get to one of those contributors, Mighty Joe. Let's get back to Maniac's question there. What or who would you like to see covering a wrestling theme song or contributing a wrestling theme song?
Well, you know what? Mr. J actually hit on a great one that I want to kind of go off of. But before I say what I'm going to say, are we allowed to drop an F shot here, Spencer?
A which?
An F shot.
Yes, I
that's
will.
a curse word for you, Spencer.
Well, I didn't really hear it first. I'm sorry. I'm aging. Okay. I turned 29 a couple of weeks ago. My hearing's not as good as it used to be. My back hurts all the time.
I'll get a below.
Do you see this? This is the world's smallest violin. Do you see this?
Well, you had mentioned Anthrax, and I mean, if somebody could, I mean, this is something maybe even Triple H or something. I don't know if he's an Anthrax fan, but I mean, among the living, that would be fucking sick as an entrance theme song.
Anything off that album would even be amazing.
Yeah.
F-shot, what Canadians call F-bomb. That's the coolest. Well, if it is, it's an Ontario thing, because as a Canadian, if that's what we're all doing, I just looked real dumb. It wouldn't be the first time I did it on Love Wrestling. I guarantee it won't be the last. Might not be the last time on this brunch, so make sure to stick around. Wrestling theme music. How does Suzuki Gun have the 2 best songs in wrestling? Yeah. Yeah, there's a real strong argument as far as it goes. I've got to leave my flex room because I'm sure as we talk about this, there's going to be some that pop up that I have the exact same reaction I just did. So I'm not going to declaratively plant the best now, but I will certainly hold that into consideration. Parrish, a band that you would like to see covering a wrestling theme song?
First, I'm going to argue that because I don't care what you think about him. Triple H has 3 of the top best creative songs. And Motorhead just absolutely smoked it out of the water. But I am a big Metallica fan. I would love to see Metallica cover a song. I also think if we're going to go with covers, go with guys that did really good covers. Marilyn Manson did some of the best covers, I think, in the 90s and 2000s. But then Bad Wolves absolutely slam dunked the Cranberries on that cover. So I would like to see Bad Wolves do a cover because they absolutely hit a home run.
That's good.
Absolutely excellent call. Tom in the chat. Tom, good to see you, my friend. I may have injured my ankle rocking out to Ishii's theme. I really hope your ankle's okay, man. But I certainly can't blame you for that. Hopefully it was an injury well worth sustaining. In my opinion, it is, because an absolute banger of a tune as well. Jobber JJ, music on Nitro I'm getting excited for is the Steiner Brothers and Faces of Fear, Meng and Barbarian. Man, some excellent choices and a great launching point for me to hop into mine. And in the same sort of way that Mr. J there said, as I scroll through our comments here to bring up Maniac's question again, it's sort of wrestling adjacent because they have been involved in pro wrestling and doing great covers before. But we talked about this on the Smart and Friend podcast a couple of weeks ago, and I got a lot of time for the Kiss Demon. And I got a lot more time for Kiss in professional wrestling. I think that they're just too marketable. Maybe WCW did not do them the justice that they deserved. I would love to see maybe not the Kiss Demon back, but maybe get Kiss involved in some professional wrestling side of things. I think that the easy answer there is have them cover War Machine for the artists formerly known as War Machine. I would love to see the War Raiders or the Viking Raiders or Viking Vengeance, whatever they're called now, come back with some Kiss. Why not?
That's a great one. That's a great one, Spencer, because I mean, Kiss is still like, forget just in music. Okay, the Kiss brand is like one of the most successful brands on this planet. I mean, Gene Simmons, like he's been quoted in the stories, like literally, like especially at the height of even now, but at the height of Kiss's popularity, like every morning he was like, okay, how can we make money with this name brand? I mean, just like that is so marketable and so successful. Like it's, man, there aren't too many people on this planet that haven't at least heard of Kiss. And it has
Kiss
that
Army member since 2001 and a proud deposit owner, I guess, on a Kiss casket. Quick shout out to Brian McKenzie. Hey guys, have an awesome Sunday. Cheers. Keep doing excellent work. Thank you, Brian. Thank you for your consistent support. Like, I think we even said this last week, but I'll always make the point. I don't think Brian's missed a Sunday brunch or has missed shouting us out, and it is always appreciated. And if you guys want to continue to support Love Wrestling, there are definitely a couple of ways to do so. You can see them all scrolling across the bottom there. The one that we're specifically pushing for a little bit here is ratethispodcast.com. If you guys have the opportunity to hop on there, the all-important Apple algorithm to throw 4 A's in a row. Take that, AAA. Throwing 4 A's at it, but it really does help us out. We are pushing. We're at the number 11 slot right now in Canadian sports podcasts. We would love to make the top 10. It would warm my heart in the most honest way I can possibly say that. So if you want to support that, is a great way to do so, but just keep throwing your comments in there, your questions, your concerns, or your thoughts on who could give some great wrestling themes like Vanessa did here. Five Finger Death Punch would do a great cover. Yeah, they're absolutely fantastic. Quick shout out as well. SHS Bagu. I really butchered that, and I apologize. Please don't leave the stream for my idiocy. The Viking Raider Experience Machine. Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take that 110% of the time. It's almost like how Baron Corbin keeps getting like Constable, Baron, General Manager, King Corbin. You just keep throwing new titles on it.
He's a man of many hats. He's a man
well,
of
and that's
many...
not a shot at Baron Corbin, because that guy is like one of the most interesting follows on Instagram out there. If you want to learn how to cook a good steak, Gordon Ramsay's a good first choice, but damn it, I'll go to Baron Corbin there as well. What's up, Love Wrestling? What is up, everything pro wrestling? A wonderful channel to follow as well, wherever you guys may be watching. I know they're tuned in on YouTube right now. If that's where you guys are as well, give it a quick click over and throw them a subscription. There's some great individuals doing great work in the professional wrestling scene. It's brunch time, baby. Give this 5 stars now. Wrestling Plug, you guys are also fantastic. Another group of individuals doing great work, shouting out good people in the wrestling scene. And just Bagu works perfect. I apologize for the first one, but I am glad that you joined us this morning as well. If you guys are just joining us here on Sunday Brunch, the topic is wrestling theme music and music in pro wrestling in general. Whew, that was a lot of plugs to get out of the way. Parrish, I'm going to move on to you so that I can save a breath for a second. You're always very good on the subject of theme music. Who are a couple of your favorite theme songs in wrestling lore? There's no need to keep it specific to decade or promotion or anything. Let's just give it a general overview. Who are some that you love?
Well, first off, I wanted to go off your earlier point that seemed like an hour ago, but
I was going to say at the start of the stream.
Did WCW ever do anyone true justice? I'm going to just point that out. I don't think so. Also, you're talking about Baron Corbin. I think that, goes full circle. That guy has a banger of the theme song. But to go with my favorite ones, when it comes to theme songs, like, man, if you're going to go with instrumentals, like Stone Cold had one of the best. Sting's WCW Crow was amazing, and I wish that was something he kept when he came into WWE.
Yeah. That intro was fantastic.
Ricochet has a solid theme song. Like, Ricochet really does have a wicked theme song. Goldust had a masterpiece of a symphony theme song, by the way, from an instrumental thing. But, like, some of the best songs, man, like Triple H has amazing ones. DX, like, how do you not like DX? Chris Jericho had a wicked one. Like, when I played hockey, like, we always came out to time to play the game, and it was just one of those things. Anytime you have a theme song that you can convert into like another form of whether it's sports or life, I think you got a winner on that one. So
100%. Joe, we'll move on to you, but of course we got to give a quick shout out. Heath Slater, baby. Yeah. Guy had great theme music. Guy continues to have great theme music. I got a lot of time for Heath Slater. There is a lot of room in professional wrestling for people like Heath Slater. I will back that guy 110%. Mighty Joe, I think that Parrish was there with about 3 or 4. So let's keep her to 3 or 4 to keep her even, because I know you're a lot like me and a lot like everybody else on this show, man. We could spend this entire thing individually listing out favorite theme songs.
Well, the first one I got mentioned right off the hop. Since we're going to be talking about this, it's the one that Rick comes to the top of my mind. Being a Canadian, I can't forget to mention my favorite professional wrestler of all time, Mr. Roddy Piper. That entrance with the bagpipes at the beginning.
Saskatoon's finest, Roddy Piper. Always has to be said.
That was still right at the top of my list. The 2 other main ones that come to mind, the DX one, which are mentioned, Rage Against the Machine. For those who didn't know, did that. I wish they would have actually done more wrestling theme songs. And then the other big standout for me, these are all seemingly coming from the same time period, but The Brood. With Gangrel, Christian, and Edge. That drop and that music, it was just so perfectly positioned for that group. It was the perfect entrance theme song for that. And still, when I hear that, I get chills. I get literal goosebumps thinking about it. Right. So those are the three the top ones for me.
100%. I'm going to bounce off the point of The Brood to make a bit of a pun as well, because a couple of years ago, I've always got to give a quick shout out to the fact that Gangrel came up here 2 years ago and put on one of the best matches I've ever seen on the independent level. Him versus Big Jesse Youngblood was absolutely fantastic, and you guys can catch all of that over on Backbreaker Media. There's some great people doing some great work as well. I know I repeat myself when I say that, but we're incredibly lucky that there are some great people doing great things for professional wrestling, both worldwide that we're lucky to affiliate with, and right here at home in Alberta, at least in the case of Parrish and I. That show is actually over on their Pivot Share channel. If you've got the opportunity to head over to Backbreaker Media, give it the chance. It's also on YouTube, Twitch, pretty well anywhere that you can catch your videos. Yes, he was. That's why I wanted to get to, but I'll let you put yourself over, brother. Why the hell not? It's a great show. Highly worth checking out. And I know the Backbreaker's got a big announcement coming out tomorrow, so make sure you stay tuned to that. Again, great things going on in Albertan professional wrestling. Mr. J, we're going to move to you. And you're an individual that I've been lucky to have a lot of musical conversations with, like you mentioned earlier, and deserves to be pointed out often, doing the music for Power Out that'll be coming up this Tuesday on Love Wrestling. Stay tuned for a lot more of what you can expect this week. But what you can expect right now, hopefully, is to hear some of Mr. J's favorite theme music. Will you? I don't know if we've got that specifically listed in your contract, but will you enlighten us as to some of your faves?
I mean, I'll allow you this time, but next time we need advance contact for this.
We'll renegotiate
Yeah,
prior
we
to
got to
the Sunday morning.
renegotiate. This is getting ridiculous. Sunday morning negotiations. So I'm not even going to do these in any particular order. I really enjoyed Shinsuke Nakamura's the instrumental version, not the whatever they tried to do with it with vocals. It
The rock rap version, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't do that.
I didn't even dislike it. It was just you're bang on, and like the Rising Sun theme it's
amazing.
It's a classic. It's a classic WWE theme for me.
Especially when they had Nita Strauss do it. Like I think it was at WrestleMania. I was just like
34. Yeah.
I love that girl because she tours with Alice Cooper, and so she has a special place in my heart. It's like anybody that makes it with him, I'm cool with them. They're amazing. Have to say I've always really liked the Undertaker's theme, like the original one from like the 90s. I know it's depressing, but I think it's like, no, that's a character theme song.
What about You're Gonna Pay? Dead Man Walking.
I don't want to bring that up in my fave 4, but like, it's in my top 10. Like,
I was gonna say we'll give it a quick shout.
That it's so good.
Have you ever heard the piano version of Taker's theme song? If we want to talk about a depressing song.
Oh, it's depressing as fuck. Sorry, I said that on.
And admittedly, I wish I had the titles of them or some handy reference for it. But if you guys look out there, Jim Johnson, I think in early 2000, he did about 5 episodes of like classic themes that he got involved with. So it was Stone Cold, The Undertaker. That's where I first heard the piano version, and it was really, really cool. I think he did Mankind as well, which Maniac, I see your comment, and I'll throw it up here for a second to remind me that we're going to get to it because we got a couple more things to get to. We got a break, and then that is a great question because it's something that Mr. J and I have also discussed at length is separate music for people like that. I also want to give a quick shout out because JJ, again, a great person, and any opportunity we've got to throw his comments up there. Some of his favorite theme songs, AJ Styles, Get Ready to Fly. Great call. Great call there. Sting's TNA theme I liked, but I do think that it does have that bias of I loved his WCW. For me, any of Samoa Joe, yeah, except the first NXT one for me. CM Punk, Cult of Personality. I love it, but the only reason I'm going to air to This Fire Burns for CM Punk is one of my favorite, if not my favorite WWE matches of all time is Punk Cena Money in the Bank. I'll say it every chance I get. And that entrance, that reaction, again, we said it off the hop here, guys, but the emotions that you get with music hitting or the emotions that get tied to a big moment and the music that comes with it, it was absolutely fantastic for me when he hit. There were those huge cheers from the Chicago crowd and he enters. I loved that moment. I really loved Cult of Personality, but I'm going to air towards This Fire Burns. Another one I want to give a quick shout out to here, Mark Henry. Somebody's going to get it. There's a theme song for you, and definitely doesn't fall in my traditional wheelhouse. I'm not much of a hip hop guy, whether in music or whether in traditional music or in wrestling theme music, but I think it encapsulates what Mark Henry's all about, and it's just a good tune. And then my emotional, heartfelt one for me. I love Eric Bischoff's WWE theme. I love it. I'm back. I'm always going to be excited to hear it. Always. Quick shout out to Reson Wrestling, of course, the latest Quizplex champion. Always got to give the hat tip there. Shannon Moore's ECW theme is an underrated banger. I'll agree with you there. That's a deep cut, but that's a great one. I'll throw the Oddities in there as well. Definitely not an ECW theme, but I love the Oddities theme. And again, contradicting I dislike hip hop, I love the theme song. Now, Imperium / Walters is great. Can't believe I forgot that one. Don't worry, Vanessa. You're not the only one in that boat. I am upset with myself that I forgot that one.
We're sleeping on one. We're sleeping on one.
Better than ever. I can't help but sing it. It was instructions.
You should.
We're sleeping.
Yeah, I
on
know
it.
I should. It ain't a compliment to my singing. I was just being instructed, and I like to do right by the fans.
Hey,
Sorry,
Spencer,
Mr. J,
honestly,
which one are we sleeping on there?
We're sleeping on arguably the best lyrics ever written for a wrestling theme song.
Ooh.
Some of you know where I'm going with this. Some of you don't. But it's Billy Gunn. Ass Man is
The ass man.
simply put.
Now, Mr.
Argue
J,
with me if you want, I won't listen.
I know that this is not contractually obliged, but
Jay, you don't have to get anal about the theme song, all right?
I'm very anally retentive. I have to. I have to.
hey guys, tighten up here.
Oh, I saw what you did there.
Thank you, Mike. Awesome's ECW theme. And
I believe there was a
ECW
hole
theme
in that
general.
song.
Yeah. We're moving on. We're gonna do the last word on that one, Barrett.
Let's
Mike Awesome's ECW theme and the ECW theme in general. JJ's an ass man. Okay, we'll just keep this train going. Yes,
It's
ass
also
man
ironic.
is so underrated.
Got a colonoscopy too the other day. Is it also kind of ironic? Just gonna put
Something
that out.
else that if we're talking about Billy Gunn, we also have to give some credence to the fact that Billy Gunn is 1-0 versus John Cena. One of my favorite facts in professional wrestling: Billy Gunn has never lost a match to John Cena, not one time.
Hey,
There
neither
you
have
go.
I.
Big fact.
Neither have I.
Now,
I've never
let's wrap
lost a
her up
match in
and
professional wrestling. Except for No Mercy, but I don't want to talk about it.
Congratulations to all of us being undefeated throughout our wrestling careers, except for Parrish, but he's won titles, so we'll call that one even as well. Let's do this one in a minute or less because we're hitting about the halfway point, and we have been speaking about music all morning. Last Thursday on Quizplex, we had one of my favorite moments in Quizplex history. Reese, if you're still in the comment section, I think you will know exactly what we're alluding to right here. So stick around for about a couple of minutes. We're going to show you a quick clip from that as we take a short break on this morning's Sunday brunch. I'm going to give this one more of a not minute or less, but a first it comes to mind, no explanation, no nothing along those lines, and we're going to get to our break. Mr. J, your favorite current theme song right now?
Fuck, I don't know. I really don't. Kevin Owens.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, Kevin Owens. Parrish, we'll move to you.
My favorite one right now, I think I'm have to go with either Aleister Black's or Baron Corbin's.
Excellent calls. Mighty Joe Morin.
Bullet Club. Still.
Excellent call. Excellent call.
I'm changing mine. I'm gonna go with Cody's theme before Snoop Dogg wrecked it.
Smoke and mirrors?
Yeah,
I got time for that. All right, and actually, this one's going to work very, very well. First, we're going to give a quick shout out to
Spencer.
Judas, Jobber JJ's favorite. What was that?
Who's your favorite one?
And I was going to tie it in here because not only do I get to give a shout out to the official.
Who your favorite theme song is?
We're not even talking about The Rock. Use a reference when it's appropriate to, and I've got
We
all the
always
time
should be
for it.
talking about The Rock.
You know what? I'm kicking you out till after the break. We got to give a quick shout out to Mrs. Maniac, who not only has done some great work on the marketing end, on the back scenes end for Love Wrestling. Love Wrestling, the official marketing director of Love Wrestling is the official title, but who had the best evolution of their song. I really like what they did with Bray's, and I bring this up because not only is Bray Wyatt, I think, my current favorite theme song, but this is the question that I want to get to when we come back from break. So, Mr. J, Mighty Joe Morin, and of course, Chris Parrish, who is currently on timeout. We're going to get to our question from Quizplex. We're going to get to some highlights, and then we are going to get back to Mrs. Maniac and Love Wrestling Sunday Brunch after this. Stick around.
Last question of the evening. The music video for the song Headlock on My Heart saw Hulk Hogan play a wrestler named Starlight Starbright that at the end of the video marries the song's artist. Who sang the song?
Oh my god. I'm gonna say Oh god.
I'm going to give you all the time in the world because, man, that's... This is such a good question. I don't want this moment to end.
Yeah. God, no matter who it is, I'm going to be uncomfortable. I'm going to go with a very weird one of, let's just say it's Canada's own Celine Dion.
I wish. I absolutely wish, but that is not the correct answer. Foul original, Reese on wrestling. Last chance to answer questions here. Jimmy Hart.
I mean, it's on brand.
It would be very on brand. And frankly, so would Cyndi Lauper as for Rice on Wrestling's answer. But man, the first thing I am doing after this broadcast is looking up this music video because the correct answer is Dolly Parton.
That makes sense, actually.
But either way, Spencer, why don't you pop on in? Let us know what the scoreboard looks like. Ah! Oh no! Oh no!
Oh, I hate that.
Oh, wow, that was beautiful. No! Please let us know who won Quizplex number 3.
I mean, if we can get real here, the true winner is me. Fortunately, I wouldn't have had to have done anything other than show a wonderful, beautiful picture of Mr. Starlight Starbright himself. After the third round, the final round, the most beautiful, glorious round, I believe, in Quizplex history. With 301 points and the winner of a $25 gift certificate to Pro Wrestling Tees and the Hand Slap Jamboree winner, it's Reese on Wrestling with 551 points and, more importantly, redemption on the finest quizzing show on Twitter.
Once again, friends, thank you so much for being a part of this. And
a perfect clip for a perfect day of talking about music in professional wrestling. Guys, if you guys have the opportunity to tune into Quizplex, I ain't even all that involved. I sit on the back end and spend my entire time laughing. Zach Ralph hosts on the last Thursday of every month. This upcoming edition of Quizplex is going to be our Champion Summit. Our previous 3 winners will be joining and going head to head for a $50 gift certificate. Yes, this time a $50 gift certificate for Pro Wrestling Tees. It's an absolute blast, and I hope you guys tune in. A couple of people joined in the comment section over the break there, so of course, we've got to give a quick shout out to our friend Sam, another great friend here of the show, of lovewrestling.ca, and a great individual. If you guys have the opportunity to support anything that Sam's doing, I guarantee that he will be kind enough to support you guys back. Another person we're lucky to have. Thanks for joining us today. We are talking professional wrestling music and everything involving professional wrestling music, not just theme music, vignette music, everything in between. And specifically at this moment, we are going to be answering Mrs. Maniac's question: who's had the best evolution of their song? I really like what they did with Braze as he went from the Wyatt family to the Fiend. I think that's a very, very good example of people who have sort of transitioned, have sort of had their theme music elevate with their character. Mighty Joe, I think, are you still laughing at old Starlight Starbright there? He's looking handsome in that sleeveless suit, hey?
I'm dead, man. Seriously.
I was going to say Dolly Parton deserves better, but not with this reaction.
Zach just dropped the headset, just walking out of frame, dude. That died. It's fantastic.
Oh. There we go, folks. If that isn't an endorsement for why you should be tuning into Quizplex,
like my stomach hurts from laughing so hard. Holy shit.
Well, we're fine with that, Joe. Don't you worry. What we aim to do is bring smiles to faces and high fives to hands everywhere. If you guys are in the comment section right now, of course, feel free to, give Joe an out. Let us answer some of your questions, because it doesn't seem like he's in any sort of mode to be giving his own opinion on things right now. A previous champion of Quizplex hopping in the chat right now. The Canadian Goose, Kyle Shaw, honk, 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 a guy that I'm going to see later this afternoon. Keep in touch, Shaw, because this stream might run a little long. It's already going off the rails. Damn, for $50, you can get both Canadian Goose t-shirts on Pro Wrestling Tees, or at least I am, because I am going to win. Honestly, if you guys have a chance to go and watch the last clip from Quizplex where Kyle Shaw rapped the entire verse of Method Man's Know Your Role, it is fantastic. There is an individual that people should also be supporting in professional wrestling. Give him a follow, a like, a share, a subscription, or, of course, as he said himself, head to Pro Wrestling Tees. But we're going to get back to Mrs. Maniac, because I think that's a great question. It's one that we've all talked about a little bit in various ways, shapes, or forms. I know that, Parrish, you and I have talked about the Hurt Business before and the way they're using Bobby Lashley's theme versus the rest of the faction and things along those sorts of natures. So I'm going to let you hop into this question first. Maybe give your thoughts on who you think has had not just a great theme song, but a great evolution of their theme songs. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, I think, going on the Triple H side of things. I'm going to get to the pun before you do.
No.
Well, I'm flat out going to go with the guy that I got in timeout with. I think The Rock has had a beautiful evolution of his theme song.
Yeah.
When you think about with all the added instruments, and then when he did the Hollywood one and it was that slower progression one, I mean, I think when you capitalize someone with an evolution of a theme song, especially an instrumental, I mean, The Rock is pretty solid too. We can even go with Undertaker as well, because he's kept that kind of going. He's back to the original, but I mean, it has changed since day one. But yeah, I mean, when you want to go with guys who've had different theme songs, Triple H is that guy. I mean, Randy Orton to an extent can be that same way. As I said, he actually used that Fire Burns for one night. So
yep. It was a quick burning fire.
Yeah, it was it was like kind of a revolution explosion.
Mr. J, evolutions.
I
of
think
theme
that
songs,
should go
my
into
friend.
timeout. I think that merits a timeout.
No, that match should have gone into a timeout. All right, don't even pat me on that one.
We'll allow that one
Give me
as
a
the
boom
judge,
if you're
jury, and
getting a blow with a queef. All right, no way.
I felt like Marvin the Martian at the end of that match. Where's the kaboom? I don't know where. There was supposed to be an earth-shattering, and it's just not there.
I was saying boo.
That's three. That match made me so goddamn angry by the end of it.
Don't at me with a comment like that if you're not even going to wear sleeves, mister. All right?
Hey, leave Starlight Star right out of
to even get dressed. You're lucky I have a shirt on entirely at this point.
Yeah, because I think you're contractually to wear clothes.
Right? I wore pants for this, damn it.
I am pantsless. No, maybe I am. You'll never know.
You're never going to know unless we get him to stand up. Mr. J. Evolution of theme music in professional
I'm sorry, Spencer.
wrestling.
I wrecked the show. I've broken
Mr.
the
J,
show.
I think that you have made the show even better, and we appreciate you being here, sir. But that also means I'm going to be moving on to you for, I now think, the third or fourth time to answer the question. Evolutions of theme music. I think I've set you up nicely for one fantastic band and one professional wrestler's evolution in theme
I'm
music.
actually not going to go with that one. And
Nice.
I
All
would,
right.
Wow, nice. I'm just going to lean over really quick here to say something about that. I would say that, but I'm going to be nice and not say that. But also, check out the Motorhead episode of Poetry of a Promo. It's pretty good. I like it. I'm in it. Anyway, moving on. My answer to this is, well, it's the Big Show. Because his ECW theme,
That's a very fair point.
really liked that one. Because I don't like the original version of that. But then when he turned like, holy crap, Big Show just killed a bunch of people really quick. And he's got an acoustic kind of badass theme song. I liked it. And I thought it was a good evolution.
That is a deep cut, but one I appreciate very, very, very much. Mighty Joe, I'm not 100% certain if you're collected after Starlight Starbright, which gives me a good shot to shout out our friend Jobber JJ. Batista's evolution to his final theme. That's a great call as well. I honestly wouldn't have really even considered that one just based on, you know, the evolution theme being so associated with Triple H because of the Motorhead connection, right? But Batista's absolutely fantastic. And another guy that I honestly don't know if he ever used it as his actual theme, but there was an acoustic version of Batista's theme that came out near the end of his initial run with WWE that 100% I would recommend it as fantastic. 100% fantastic. Mr. Maniac hopping in there as well. Brutal tangent. Get your shit together, boys. All right, we'll move back to the question. Best evolution of their theme song, and you are on the clock, Mighty Joe.
For me, it's The Undertaker. I mean, not only with his character was he willing to experiment and try different things with the entrance music. It really wasn't necessarily an evolution of the same thing. Like, he was willing to try different things. You know, like that Limp Bizkit song coming out when he was doing the American Badass thing. I mean, that was absolutely fantastic. And you know, and with the Ministry, I mean, just it was it's The Undertaker, man. It's The Undertaker. How can you not love The Undertaker and what he did? I mean,
I was gonna say that could like sum up all of it. You could just say it's The Undertaker.
The Undertaker, man.
That's all you really need to say, and that's a good argument. You know,
yeah.
I'm gonna go with a bit of a deeper one, but again, one that I really love, and a guy who's been sort of mentioned earlier today. I'm going to go with Edge, your 2021 Royal Rumble winner. I've liked where he's gone with things. I think that Metalingus, it speaks for itself. It's such a good theme song. It's so associated with them. But The Brood, just an all-time great faction. All-time great theme music. And I do still have all the time in the world for his initial, You Think You Know Me theme. Like the initial sort of techno dance EDM version that came when he initially left The Brood. I really liked it, and I think that it sort of tied really, really well from him leaving The Brood, and was still a good
Rob
theme.
Zombie there for a bit too, didn't it?
Right. Thank you for making my point even more effective for me, Mr. J. This is why we love having you in the show. One of many reasons that we love having you in the show. Jobber JJ's only heard Batista's theme song with lyrics, so when I was watching Mania 21 and getting ready to sing, you were stunned to hear no lyrics. Yeah, even me watching it back sometimes, admittedly, it's same sort of deal. Another quick shout out, and I feel like I've done this a lot, but it's well worth doing when you're on the internet to point out great clips in YouTube history. If you got the chance, there's a clip of, I think it was Mania 35 that he came back at. I'm bad with my numbers. When he came back at Mania 35, there was somebody who took a video of Xavier Woods singing along to Batista's theme. And it's one of my favorite things that I've seen in professional wrestling. It shows that everybody just loves it. You know what I mean? There's a lot of bad raps that people seem to get with being marks or for whatever reason enjoying professional wrestling. I've never understood it. Exactly. It's so heartwarming. Xavier Woods is a guy that I think that everybody in professional wrestling should look up to because he's just a good dude doing good things. It's a constant theme. I think we might need to change just from the Sunday Brunch to just take that on as the tagline. Vanessa loved Edge and Christian's theme. I did as well. Like they're fantastic. I actually really like Christian's new AEW theme. Mikey Ruckus does an incredible job.
Very TNA Impact-ish, that theme song.
Yeah, but TNA, mate. TNA did a great job of their theme music too. I think they still do a great job, or Impact now does a great job of their theme music, but I thought they were fantastic, and it was really cool how they let like even Mickey James using Hardcore Country. Fantastic. I love stuff like that. What was that, Parrish?
Is it holy? You're just
no.
Holy.
When you're this enthusiastic and this Canadian on the all-Canadian edition of Sunday Brunch, you can be excused for sometimes enunciating.
Who had the maple syrup, all right? Who had the maple syrup?
Look at him go now, eh? We'll never be able to get back on track now, eh?
But,
Great day for hey.
But here's the thing. I'm going to interrupt, and I'm actually going to throw out a Canadian. We were talking about Batistas, and I'm going to even stay on the saliva part. Chris Jericho had a great evolution. Like when he had King of My World, that he came out to a Survivor Series, played as a live version of Saliva.
Chris Jericho.
Sorry, I'm done. I thought we were all doing it now. I thought we were all buying into the gimmick. Not isolating me on this.
I've actually
action here, guys.
I've actually done this gimmick and got paid doing it, so I win. Anyway, a version of Jericho's theme that we never actually got to hear. Seven Dust did actually a version on the Forcible Entry that's actually pretty good. And like I was so willing for that. But the Break the Walls Down, I think, is just an iconic theme now. And then we talk about now with him and the Judas and like getting his Fozzy over. I mean, that guy has really killed the theme song game over his career as well.
Yeah. Got to give a quick shout out if we're keeping it Canadian. Sam's going to hop in there, be Canadian with us. Come on, bud. Keep it rolling. And Maniac's going to roll his eyes. But would we expect anything different? Maniac is here to keep us in check, and Mrs. Maniac is here to give us great marketing ideas. We are here to chat professional wrestling for about the next 10 minutes before we give you a quick preview of what you can expect in the next week in Love Wrestling. So if you guys have questions, comments, concerns, theme songs you love, suggestions for next week's topics, or anything that you guys want to throw out there, we are still happy to get them out there. Please feel free to give us your thoughts. I think keeping on the Canadian train, though, it is a nice place to go. Oh, hey, I quite like 2 good comments in here as I get through there. Brian McKenzie, has anybody used any Pantera? I don't believe anybody on the WWE or, I hate the phrase, but like the major league level. Michael Allen Richard Clark, though, if you love yourself some Pantera, there is a professional wrestler for you. Make sure you check him out.
I'm absolutely upset with you, Spencer, because
I didn't know RVD. Well, I apologize.
I actually had the pleasure of seeing. I had the pleasure of seeing Van Damme come out to, I believe it was Walk.
There we go.
I might be wrong. It's Sunday morning. It's a little too early.
That's exactly. We're allowed our brain farts on the Sunday brunch. It happens sometimes.
The coolest.
Yeah. Reese's, there we go. Pantera. He used Walk in ECW.
Yes, he does, and he still uses it on independent dates too. So
ECW used a lot of actual music.
Enter Sandman for Sandman.
Yep.
Matt and Alice in Chains for Tommy Dreamer.
Who else? It was who used Iron Man? It was Legion of Doom, correct? There we go. Yep. There we go. And another one from Reson Wrestling. Well, just give me one quick sec. I got to give a shout out to the questions if I'm encouraging them, Parrish. So I do apologize. That's my fault on the interruption there. But hey, I know I'm correcting myself. The Rock's theme got better and better over the years. Absolutely, man. Parrish, a very good point earlier in the segment, and one that is echoed by another very, very smart person in professional wrestling. Not only great at content creation, but if Reson Wrestling is being brought up, then I'm always going to bring up his recent Quizplex victory. It's just got to be done. It was a lot of fun to do. Also, Jeff Hardy, no more words. I love it. I absolutely love it. Jeff Hardy said
he did say he'll bring that back once they have fans again. So if WrestleMania has fans, we might actually see that song come back at WrestleMania.
I wouldn't be shocked at all. I really wouldn't be shocked, nor would I be displeased with that. I would be absolutely thrilled for him to bring it back. It's just an all-time great, and it's one of those other things too. Like, I love the Hardy Boys theme music, but for me, it's the Hardy Boys theme music. So it has been a little jarring and awkward. I will use differently here. It's still a little jarring to hear the Hardy Boys music and then only Jeff come out. It was even weirder when it was Jeff and Riddle coming out.
To me, that's my biggest gripe on Roman Reigns is that he still uses the Shields music without the Sierra Hotel India Echo Lima Delta. I really wish he would have got his own theme song like Ambrose and Rollins did. Like, give Reigns his own theme song for freaking sakes. Like, this is absolutely stupid.
To a point, I think that it's a weird way to put it. I would have agreed for years and did agree for years up until his SummerSlam return. And it is purely because now I just think that like the heavy brooding theme suits him really well. Earlier and immediately after the breakup of the Shield, 100%. I think he needed new music for years. But right now, I don't hate it because it almost does seem entitled too. And I think that plays really well into his character to keep using what was such an iconic theme. Hey, while we've still got Kurt Angle willing to professionally wrestle, we can get a Shield reunion one day.
Shield's dead. But I mean, like, no, like,
gotta give the Kurt. Come on, you can't no-sell the Kurt Angle shot out there.
So happy to be there. Just so happy to be there.
Yeah,
everybody.
And Triple H has been in the Shield too. Let's not forget Triple H.
That's true.
Yeah,
110.
He did a little bit better than Kurt did.
Now we've got about 5. We've got about 5 minutes left of questioning before we let everybody plug what they've got coming up here in the next week of Love Wrestling. And I think a great place to tie it off is, as always, with a fan question. Vanessa, and we'll make this the minute or less segment because we tied a little small semi-segment in earlier. Were you gentlemen upset when WWE started changing everyone's theme music last year after the fallout with CFO? Was I upset with the different theme music? Yes. I think that there were a lot that got sort of thrown by the wayside. I don't know if it's strictly because of the character change, but the one that immediately comes to mind for me is when Seth Rollins changed over to the Messiah theme. it was just noticeably worse for me, and it's nothing against it. I just love his Burn It Down theme. So I was really disappointed when they changed it up again. Not 100% certain if that was because of the character, because of CFO, but I definitely don't like the newer themes as much as I like the CFO ones. I understand why they do it though. Like the licensing side of things, it sucks to say that dictates a lot more than what is better or what I prefer or what a lot of people prefer in some unfortunate situations. So yes, but understanding. Mighty Joe, I'm going to move to you now.
I'm
We'll
kind
go
of
clockwise rotation here.
I'm kind of on the exact same wavelength as you, Spencer, and you hit on I think one of the big ones was with Seth Rollins. I mean, we had that original kind of version of that, and it wasn't quite like resonating. And then we had that Burn It Down. It's like even Vince says, we need that something at the beginning where the crowd can kind of get involved,
like the engagement part, yeah,
right. And then when the CFO stuff happened, it's like, yeah, just it feels like just it doesn't. The ones that they've come out with, like whoever's doing it now, which I don't even know who they are. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have that same kind of feel to it. When Johnson was doing it in CFO, they did some good stuff, but this new crop of like whoever they are, it's just not hitting the mark with me whatsoever.
Yeah, I would agree there, Mr. J. Your thoughts?
Same. It's not hitting home, not yet anyway. Yeah. But give it time. Like things will work out with time, I guess. If it's and it goes back to what we said about Roman Reigns. Does it work on his own in the early stages? No. But if they tell the story with it, it could work later. But like if you're doing it that much, I don't really think so at this point. But we all know they're good at long-term storytelling, so give them time, guys. Give them time.
Let it simmer, guys. Let it marinate. Rhea Ripley wasn't pinned in that match for a reason.
Wrestling nowadays has lost a lot of storytelling. It's not just WWE.
That is a fair point to make. That's a fair point to make, Parrish. I do think, and rightfully so, I'll walk my line here, but I do think that WWE does unfairly get singled out in that a lot. Not that they don't sometimes err towards shorter term storytelling, but I do think it's a wrestling problem sometimes, not specifically a WWE. But that might be a great topic for next week's Sunday Brunch. Of course, we will be back here at 11 a.m. next week. Parrish, you've got the final word on Vanessa's comments, and then we'll start to get into what people can expect here next week on Love Wrestling. What are your thoughts? What are the final words on the last couple of years potentially on theme music?
Well, one of the things I hate when they added like sound effects to some themes. Like, yeah, we could talk about Braun and his stupid train thing when he's doing it.
Ricochet you brought up earlier.
Like, that guy has a solid theme song that, like, even when you just take it away and be like, man, like, if like Spider-Man had a theme like that, it'd be freaking cool. But I mean, I'm also going to say this. Mr. Johnson, when he did it, he told a story with his song. So it was kind of like a generational thing. Nowadays, it's not so much storytelling. It's just more for that pop. And I really feel that's a very great parallel to how the product of pro wrestling is too, which is something that like that thought came at me while you guys were talking. So I just wanted to throw that out there because like we saw a lot more like slow, methodical songs with the like lyrics like that when Johnson did it. And now we're getting more like we're just getting more and more, and we're not really like getting
in your face.
Yeah, and like although there are some good ones, like I'm not gonna like Aleister Black has a wicked song. Like I mean I also like when guys have a song for when they're a heel and they're babyface. It takes a real good song like Randy Orton's that work both ways. Mm-hmm. But I also believe that like when you talk about Seth Rollins, one, it was his idea to change his theme song, by the way. But I like the fact that if you're going to do something different, you have a different sound. If you want, like, it's the soundtrack of your character. And if your character changes, then the soundtrack should also change. And then that's why we get that evolution. We talked about Rock and the Hollywood thing, and it was perfection. And then now he's more electrifying, so you get more electrifying. And then that's just the beauty of the theme songs.
I love it. I absolutely love it, Parrish, and I think that's a very eloquent point to close out at least our discussion portion of it. I do want to give a quick shout to Reese on Wrestling, the reigning Quizplex champion, at least of March. I can't not shout out Canadian Goose winning in February. After DIY broke up, Gargano's theme was called Rebel Heart, and Ciampa's theme started with a heart flatlining. That's an excellent, just nice little thing to shout out. Yeah. I don't know if you'd call that wrestling history. It's a nice little fun fact, and I wanted to get that one recognized. Let's take a look at what we've got coming up over the next 7 days here on Love Wrestling. We've got some great content coming your way starting tomorrow. Mr. J, I'll let you espouse on this after we give the quick rundown, because I really want to hear why you selected the greatest promo of all time for this week. And of course, Mighty Joe, you'll have some time following, but let's rattle through in the 20 seconds that this graphic will show. Tomorrow on Poetry of a Promo, we've got the greatest promo of all time, Jumpin' Jeff Farmer. Hopping on Poetry of a Promo. Tuesday, we'll see the return of Power Out immediately following NWA Power. Wednesday, we got a double dose of, again, wrestling theme music coming from Josh Robinson and my interview with Ravenous Randy Myers. Turnbuckle Rewind and the Roar Report will be airing this Thursday. And, of course, we'll be back for our regularly scheduled Sunday Brunch next Sunday at 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Mr. J, I have to ask, in the wide, wide world of great professional wrestling promos, why and how did you come across this one as the piece de résistance?
Because if I can get away on my show with saying a name like Motley Crue over and over again, it writes itself. And yes, that is what happens on tomorrow's episode. And also, as a special little bonus here, folks, over the next couple days, there is a poll happening on Twitter at Poetry of a Promo. And you can actually maybe have a say. I might not respect the results, but you can have a say in who we look at next on Poetry of a Promo. Your options are The Rock, Kenny Omega, and Chris Jericho. I've already recorded the one I want to do, so change my mind if you want.
You're getting it eventually.
Whatever, you'll get it eventually. So head over to at Poetry of a Promo on Twitter and vote. But in the meantime, enjoy Jumpin' Jeff Farmer. It is a masterpiece.
I was excited. I was excited as soon as you sent this to me. Mighty Joe, I know you've got a great match lined up. You guys always have great matches lined up, and you're moving back to one of my favorite years in professional wrestling, oddly enough. 1999 was a damn good one for professional wrestling. Obviously, the Monday Night Wars in full effect. And in my opinion, as I know as well as yours, one of the top matches of that era, you guys went back. And so give me a little bit on what you and Carl have coming up on Thursday on Turnbuckle Rewind.
It's interesting because it's almost kind of a delayed segue from something that we were kind of touching on earlier with a certain individual. Like you had mentioned, Spencer, we're going to ECW 1999 Hardcore Heaven for the ECW TV title. We're talking Rob Van Goddamn versus Jerry Lynn. That is going to be entertaining as hell to break down that match. And I hope you guys will enjoy watching and listening along to us talk about it. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be an absolute blast. And Chris Parrish, I know, is active everywhere in professional wrestling. He is sort of our boots on the ground on the Twitch side on everywhere. He's bringing up some beautiful, beautiful visuals for us. Mr. Parrish, be able to tell us what you're up to.
Give
me a little on it.
May 28th, Red Deer, Alberta Festival Hall. Best Entertainment Wrestling presents a show where I'm making my debut, and then Heavyweight Championship #1 title contender match. Which contender matches? WWE? Let's start fucking doing them.
4 F-bombs. I don't. We're gonna have to write the FCC or whoever is the governing body.
Went over a quota for 2.
I regret nothing.
Yeah. But no, it's God's Gift to Wrestling. Michael Richard plays against the Cheetah Bear Jude Dawkins against myself. Just made official May 28th. Don't forget about it. But I'm also going to say, Spencer, another reason I know you wanted Mr. J's, you like so much. We both know, you know, just like Mr. J and I know, Crew fans are the best.
I wouldn't disagree with you there one bit. And if you guys are in Edmonton, Alberta, that gives me a wonderful opportunity to plug the great work that the folks at Average Joe's are doing. If you're in Sherwood Park, if you want to check out some great AJHL action this evening, head to Average Joe's. They're going to be showing tonight's Sherwood Park Crusaders game at 5 p.m. But if you're looking for more of Love Wrestling, there are lots of ways that you can There are lots of ways that you can continue to support us here on the site. There are a couple of specific goals that we're looking to hit in the next couple of days. So here are a few links for all of you guys, my friend. If you guys are watching on YouTube right now and you haven't subscribed, it would be thoroughly appreciated if you could do so. We're sitting at 269 subscribers. Nice. We're aiming for 275 by the end of the week. It would be really, really appreciated if you could help us out there. On the Twitch side of things, if that's where you're tuned in, and again, you're not giving us a follow yet, that's not a problem, but it would be really appreciated if you would. We're hoping to hit affiliate status. We need 11 more followers to do so, and we would love if you would support. On the Instagram side of things, we're so close. I think it's 8 followers away at this point from hitting 200 followers there. Again, I can't stress it enough how much we would love it if you would give us a hand there. And as we attempt to reach the top 10 sports podcasts in Canada here, if you guys want to head over to ratethispodcast.com/LoveWrestlingCA, that all-important Apple algorithm. I loved the fact that I actually got through that without stumbling this time. It does really, really help us out. That is the best way you guys can support us if you want to go above and beyond. But the most important thing, friends, is that you guys took the time to tune in today. I know I speak for everyone else here on the site that whether it's for Sunday Brunch, whether it's Power Out, whether it's any of the content we've got, a like, a share, a follow, or simply a watch, it means the world to all of us. Thank you guys once again for tuning in to Sunday Brunch. It means a lot that you guys would choose to support, and we hope to see you back here next Sunday. I'm going to close it out, and hopefully you don't give Mighty Joe a heart attack. Say goodnight from Starlight, Star Bright.